pussy popping, you beautiful humans. My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another piping hot, yes, you see, where's that jug? Piping hot episode of Sippin' the Tea Quarantine, where we what, girl? We sip some tea, I guess.
Spill that tea.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't leave you hanging this time.
Where's Mama?
Well, you know, we're coming to you live today from Miami, so she's currently having a little sun session. Where's Liddy?
Liddy is in her house chilling, taking a little nap.
But ladies and gentlemen, we deliver today. Don't you worry. Brandi Rhodes, both sides of the equation, the CEO of AEW and a wrestler, boss babe. What's poppin', girl? How you doing?
Hey, how are y'all doing today?
Good.
We're there, honey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm just in what I've started to call Swampsonville, Jacksonville, Florida. It is extremely hot. The humidity is real today, so I'm in air conditioning right now. That's why I look nice.
Looking
together, honey.
Look. Okay, well, we know that you're a busy woman, so we're going to get straight to it so you can get back to doing the damn thing. Quarantine 2020, it's been a crazy, and I like to say interesting year, but we like to focus on the positives, and just want to ask you, what have been some positive takeaways with what's happening in the world in these crazy times?
Oh man, so there's nothing like I'm actually an introvert, which a lot of people I don't think know about me.
Really? Girl,
I am
now.
on the show. But I seem like, well, I do like attention when I want the attention, but I only want the attention probably 25% of the time that I actually get it. So, so for me, I've been a little bit of a hermit crab, which has been nice just to have an excuse to self-care a lot. Usually I have to explain myself and, make things up if I want to get some alone Brandi time. But right now, people are happy to give me alone Brandi time because they can't really come over. So it's been a self-reflective time for me.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That seems to be a nice running thing with everybody that's come through, that I think if you look at this and you flip it on its head, that the self-reflection is such a nice moment where everybody's so busy and you wear so many hats and so many titles that it's a nice time to just kind of reconnect with who you are at your core. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I want to know where your journey started. Like, how did you get into this wrestling phenomenon? Where did little Brandi start her journey into this world?
Oh man, so it was a very, very random happening for me to get into the wrestling world. I actually am one of the last, and I feel like Ariane, you're one of these lasts too, to come from modeling or dance or something other than wrestling. So I came from the modeling world. And I had moved from Michigan to Miami because I cannot take cold. I was just born in the wrong place. And so I needed to be in the sun. And I was just living my life there and kind of living my dream of, entrepreneurship and modeling. And, I was going to school for my master's and just doing everything that I wanted to do and kind of taking care of me. And it just happened that my agent was in some kind of talks with WWE. And she was just kind of like, okay. She called me and she said, "Don't hang up." So I was like, "Oh God, what on earth? What is?" But yeah, she was, saying like, "Hey, would you ever consider wrestling?" And I was like, "Probably not." But I was just kind of like, well, I mean, the vision that I had of wrestling back then was I had a women's studies class at University of Michigan where wrestling was the subject. And in the clip they showed, it's a famous clip where Trish Stratus is on her knees barking like a dog. And it was just kind of like, wrestling is the devil. So I was like, yeah, I really can't see myself, it just is not what I would do. But she was like, what's changed a lot since then? It's rated actually PG, so they don't do stuff like that anymore. And you should just watch it. So I started watching, and then I was like, well, hey, this is like a 180 from what I saw in women's studies. And it's more like the wrestling that I remember growing up, as a kid, it was friendly to everybody. So I decided to go off in that adventure. And a few months later, I was training, and here we are today.
Whoa. Right? It's crazy how like life will just take you in so many different ways, and you're just kind of like, how did I get here? But the journey's so exciting. You know, for people who haven't, our listeners who haven't really followed your journey, a small thing people don't know is that you did train to wrestle, but then you end up being a ring announcer. So kind of like walk us through like that process and kind of how that happened. And was that something you even wanted to do, or did you want to be like, no, I'm about to be that bad bitch and wrestle in the ring?
Yeah, no, I was totally going in with the whole mindset of that I was going to be a wrestler. That was what I was hired for. And I remember I was at one show backstage at FCW, and this was only like a week or so after I had started there. And they were asking backstage, because I guess whoever they were like asking a bunch of girls backstage, hey, would you ring announce? Would you ring announce? And everybody's freaking out going, no, there's no way. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. And I said, well, what does it actually entail? Like, what do you need me to do?
Good question.
Yeah. And they were like, well, you just, say the names and the towns and just, you got to use a big voice and all that. And I was like, well, I used to be a broadcaster. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, I could do this. Like, that's fine. So I did it. And they were like, that was pretty good. And then literally the next week, I ended up going on the road. So I went from being in developmental for 1 week to on the road and announcing in front of like 20,000 people. And It was crazy and it was scary, but I just got comfortable very quickly doing it. So they just kept booking me to do it over and over and over again. And then finally I ended up with the actual job, and then I couldn't get rid of it. Therein lied the problem.
I mean, when it's right, it's right. Just listening to your tones, I say it's like when it's meant to be, I think it's meant to be, and the universe opens the floodgates to what will be, for sure.
Yeah. And then look, you fast forward to like where you're at now, you're getting to like live every aspect of the dream from when you first started, which gets me to the question is, you hold such a huge title, especially being like one of the first Black women to have such a big title in wrestling. Kind of walk us through like, how does that feel for women's wrestling and for women who look like you?
Oh, wow. I mean, that's a huge question. I feel like it's just a door opener for people, like where a door has been very, very closed for a very long time. We're starting to see these doors open up again. And so it's a big job because I want to continue to see doors open up, or I don't want just this door to open for me and then close again. I want it to open, and then I want more people to keep stepping through it. So it's kind of all on my shoulders. So thankfully I'm doing an all right job. And I think that, people will continue to, want to have more women in positions like these because we can do this. And it's only better for organizations to be more open like this, because you're opening yourself to more ideas, more things that you maybe didn't think of. And we're rocking and rolling.
You sure are, girl. They're doing the damn thing. I'm like, okay, Brandi, I see you, girl.
I love that. I love that you touched on, and I think as women, strong, powerful women yourselves, that it's so important when a door opens that it's all about the collaborative moment, and it's all about who's to follow and looks up to you. So I think that's partly your success, because you're doing it alongside for the ones that are there now and for the ones that will come up.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is the testament of what an amazing, strong, powerful female, beautiful Black woman, but also like kick-ass business and entrepreneur as well. So I think every little step of your journey has like stuck together now to like it's all synced in, and I think it's really kick-ass. So hats off to you, darling. I kind of had it with I want to talk about, because I know when I first met Ariane, and I was like, she's like, yeah, I got an action figure, and she showed me the action. I want to talk about like, how does that even feel? That like there's like this.
You want to meet her?
Yeah!
She came prepared.
Little Brand. She comes with me everywhere. I mean, it's like the dogs are starting to get jealous at this point, because Lil Brand is where they're not. So it's a little bit of a head situation over here. I probably should see somebody about it.
She's answering the question. She's like, hello.
No, it's amazing. The action figure thing is so surreal because I've told people this a few times. I've been scanned to have an action figure probably like 8 times, and it never happened. So I kept like kind of getting promised, hey, you're going to get this action figure, you're going to get it. And I never got it. So this is the first time it's actually happened. And I really like it. I mean, I always like expected to not think it looked like me, or, you know, maybe it was like not, you know, the right, whatever. But this one, I think they nailed it. So I'm really happy.
Give her a spin again, girl. Give her a spin again. Bring her out.
I'm going to go from the back.
Yeah.
That's,
everybody.
That's so dope, girl. To have like your own action figure and just like everything you're doing, it's just kind of like, even though 2020 has been a crazy year, I always love to be able to see when like you can find, you know, a negative and like turn it into a positive.
Perspective, having good perspective.
Exactly. So, thank you for allowing me, girl, to be a part of the Women's Deadly Tag Team Tournament. Did I even say that? The Deadly Draw. I feel like it's a tongue twister.
It's the hardest name ever. I think that Tony like just really wanted to rib us on that.
And I totally just spelled it right now.
The Deadly Draw. But not just you. No, Tony Schiavone, he struggled on that one for a couple days too. I think he called it a few different things on the first show.
I'm like, whoa, that was a tongue twister, and I totally failed it. But on the flip side, thank you for having me be a part of that. And it seemed like the reaction to having that was so major that people really responded to it. So girl, spill the tea. Can we see some tag team titles in the future for the women?
Well, that's quite a question. I think that the tournament was a step in the right direction because, you know, across the board, there was this, I guess, thought that we didn't have enough women to do tag team wrestling in AEW. And a lot of people, you know, they got really downhearted when we had some injuries and things like that. So I think that this just showed everyone that we have the women available. We've got great women, great characters, great in-ring competitors, and we can hold people's attention and put something really good together. So my hope is that we continue to grow and go in that direction, but can't promise anything because, you know, it's week to week these days.
Right? So it's so much happening.
That leads me into the next question, because week to week, we're kind of living our lives in this new kind of normal and adjusting and understanding. So how are you and AEW and all of that? Like, this is still happening. And I know from speaking to Ariane, the process that she went through to even step in there. So how has that affected you and how you're doing day to day in terms of COVID, in terms of, you know, 2020 being what it is?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think the greatest thing is that we just have from the very beginning been extremely careful. So whereas we could have kind of gone around some corners and saved some money without maybe doing the testing or maybe doing as rigorous of testing, we just decided it's more important to make sure that we know exactly what's going on with everybody. So let's just do all of the medical. So we've been doing that from the beginning. You know, we took about a month off in the very, very beginning to kind of like get everybody together and make sure that, you know, hey, it's safe to continue doing this. And then from there, every single week or every time you actually leave and come back, you're tested here. So, I mean, right now I'm here for a long stint because we've got a pay-per-view and then we've got more tapings. But if I were to go home and come back, definitely we have to get tested again. So it's just been really smart. And we had this great medical team that's just been amazing and on point with everything. And just really everyone feels good and feels safe when they come here. And it's also a testament to, you know, when people go on and they go into their normal lives and do whatever they're doing, it shows that they're being safe and thinking of everyone else and everything that they're doing because they're, you know, coming back here and getting tested. And for the most part, everybody being healthy. So it's just been like a little bit of a kind of, we've tightened up for the family here. So it's made AEW that much more of a family, which is great.
It's dope.
like that.
Yeah. And I mean, what I love too is just like, you know, when all this has happened, people kind of get stuck. I mean, obviously you guys are a big corporation, so it's like, it's not, you can't really hit the pause button too long because, you know, like business must go on. But I think it's so awesome how you guys have been able to adapt and be like, okay, this is how we're going to make it happen. And it's also like a testament to the talent to be able to go out in front of, you know, just, you know, the talent and perform, because that's how wrestling is. It's like you thrive off of the fans and the people booing and cheering. So I think that that's amazing how you guys have been able to just keep it pushing, and now you're having, you know, a percentage of fans being able to come and watch and slowly just figuring it out, because I mean that's really what it is about, is just adapting and making it happen.
And safety first. I think the fact that you
Yeah.
led with safety means you are the caretakers for yourselves, the talent, and the families, and all of that. So I think that's kick-ass. That's really kick-ass.
Yeah. Everything in full circle. So girl, I have to ask you, with all the accomplishments that you've had and just seeing your growth from like meeting you years ago and to like where you're at now, I don't ever feel like there's such thing as failure or anything like that. I feel like it's a time to be able to take a step back and just go back into something, having more knowledge. But is there anything you would tell your younger self?
Oof. Honestly, probably just that you got to be confident in yourself. I feel like as a younger person, I didn't always have, you know, the highest levels of confidence, or I didn't actually believe a lot of things about myself that were already true, which was like, you know, if someone, you know, said I was smart, I'd be like, yeah, but I'm not that smart. But in reality, you know, as time went on, it went on to show actually you are pretty smart, because yeah, I was able to do a lot of things that, you know, people said you'd never be able to do, and get through all of the schooling that I did. So I can't be that dumb. So in my mind, I was always like, I don't know if I'm really all of that, but okay.
You're definitely very humble. I think the word is humble. So you're not a bragger, but girl, with all the hats that you're wearing, you popping, girl.
I do brag about this. Now,
I'm just gonna walk off for a second. Hey!
I have to say, you know, Lil Brand was the #1 selling action figure on Ringside Collectibles last week, beating out every single action figure, including all of the guys. I'm not just gonna say that was, you know, a coincidence. It's because it's Lil Brand. Come on. Okay, now I'll go back to being humble for a second.
She was like, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but you know, I will toot it with Lil
If
Brand.
I had an action figure, I would be tooting. And honey, I'm going to make one go into production. Let me know where you get those made. Chat. I need an action figure.
So girl, I mean, you're doing so much inside the ring and outside the ring, but is there anything else that we can see from you, or anything that you want to let everybody out there know, like what to expect from Miss Brandi Rhodes?
Ooh, oh, well, it's an interesting time because, you know, a lot of things have, like you said, they slowed down the past, you know, 5-6 months here. The world got hit with, you know, an unprecedented element, I guess. But things are starting to go back to being normal-ish again, or at least people are trying to start going back, and they have an idea about how to go back to doing various things. So I would say sky's the limit at this point. A lot of things, of course, you know, we kind of pressed pause on in the early stages of this, and now those things that were in pause are fully in play again. So that means, you know, AEW is always looking to continue to, you know, increase our footprint and grow. And I think you're going to be seeing a lot more from AEW and AEW people, maybe including myself, in the very near future.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, where's those carrots, honey? She's dangling.
Right? Add that extra little tea right there. So go ahead, girl. Tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can watch AEW, and just go ahead and spill the tea and plug your social media, the whole nine.
Oh man, so social media, I'm easy. I'm at the Brandi Rhodes, THE, Brandi with an I, Rhodes, and that's on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find AEW every Wednesday night live on TNT, unless it's, you know, an NBA playoff game. Then we're going to on a different day. But we'll tell you about that in advance.
There you go. Mr. Matt, where can everybody follow you at?
You can follow me at Matt Dillon 1983. And Ari, wrap it up, sister.
You guys can follow me across the board at Ariane Andrew. And until next time, we will catch you guys same time, same place of a little bit of sipping the tea.
Thank you, Miss Brandi.
Thank you.